Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So here's a little bit about myself before we jump into the content for today. I'm D.AMALIE, an experienced project manager with over a decade in the industry, specializing in Agile methodologies and performance. I have the privilege of working with cross-functional teams, leading them to consistently exceed performance goals while staying adaptable in dynamic environment. So if you're preparing for your project management professional PMP certification, you are in the right place. Today I'll be walking you through some must-know questions before break them down and giving you the reasoning behind their right answer. And by the end of this video, you will gain confidence and knowledge needed to tackle the PMP like a pro. So grab a notebook, stay till the end, and don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon for PMP prep content. And now let's get started. So Drew is a project manager on a tight timeline to deliver a software product. After reviewing emails and work logs from the past month, he realized that his team has several key product features ready to go, but that the main components still require development. Drew thinks that putting the completed component into production will not be disruptive, and he believes that the project will begin to lose stakeholder approval if the remaining development continues to lag. How can the project manager deliver business value in this scenario? So the possible answers here is incremental deliverable, acceptance, test-driven development, and backlog grooming and testing at all levels. So you can pause the video and then choose, and then let's compare if you got it right. So the correct answer here is A, incremental deliverables, and this is why it's A. So incremental deliverables allows the development team to create and deliver increment of a product to the stakeholder. This agile approach ensures that the business value is realized as soon as possible and the lower valued items are delivered later in the product. So testing at all levels forces teams to consider how some part of the project or product interact with others to decrease errors and issues. Acceptance test-driven development brings teams of developers, analysts, and stakeholders together to determine threshold for successful product and project. So backlog grooming makes teams review, revisit, and edit their outstanding work and adjusting priorities as needed. Question number 2, a project is reaching its end and management has asked you to move forward with closing the project. All the technical work is complete. During the closure phase, all the following activities occur except, so we have we have the multiple choice, formal acceptance, performance reporting, performance cost benefit analysis, and creation of lessons learned. So you can pause the video and then let's compare and see if you got it right. So the correct answer here is performance cost benefit analysis, and the reason behind it is that the cost benefit analysis CBA is a simple technique that is used to create non-critical financial decisions. It involves adding the benefit of a particular action. So you select a project, then comparing the associated costs. Cost benefit analysis is done earlier in the project to help select between future alternatives, opportunities. All the other mentioned activities are done during the project or phase closure. Therefore, performing a cost benefit analysis is the correct answer. The creation of lessons learned is done during the project or phase closure, and formal acceptance is done during project or phase closure. Performance reporting is done during project or phase closure as well. So that is why the correct answer is cost benefit analysis, which is CBA. Question number 3, you and your project team have just created a proposed project plan, but your financial manager disagrees with you on many areas because you are operating in a functional environment. You would like the functional manager to compromise. Which of these individuals has the power in a functional organization? So we have the program manager, the project manager, the functional manager, and then the customer. So the correct answer here is the functional manager, and the reason behind it is that the functional manager has the power in functional organization. So the project manager has limited power in a functional organization and may even be known as a project coordinator or team leader. Although the customer sets the project requirement, they have little project management authority. So a program manager is not likely to exist in a functional organization as well. So let's take question number 4. Louis is the Scrum Master for a project, makes it up its 5th iteration and has velocity of 25 story points. The project is nearly complete and the team is ready to move on to the other work. However, a key stakeholder approached Louis with a new feature they would like to add to the project. What should Louis do in this scenario? So we have declined the request as changes coming too late for the project. Submit the feature for the team to review since they are almost done with the work. Direct the stakeholders to change control board because of timing of the project completion, and add the feature to the backlog as changes welcome at any time. So the correct answer here is D. Add the features to the backlog as changes welcome at any time. And the reason behind it is adding features to an agile project is as simple as adding them to the backlog. It is then up to the product owner to prioritize those tasks. So there is no change control board in an agile project, so this request is not valid. The team does not get to review new features because features are added to the product backlog for prioritization by the product owner. Declining the request is not the best choice as changes and addition may enter the project at any time, but it is up to the product owner to approve and prioritize the change request. Question number 5. Eve is the project manager for project Woolly, which is in the 9th week of implementation, is 5,000 over 200,000 budget and is 1 week behind schedule. Recently, Eve noticed a team member working on a task that was not part of project Woolly's scope but will provide value. What should Eve do? So we have some multiple choice here. Stop the work but submit the change request. Escalate the issue to the team members manager. Do nothing. The task will benefit the project. Stop the work and direct the team member to another task. So the correct answer here is A. Stop the work but submit the change request. So if should ask the team members to stop work and submit change requests. This will ensure the change is controlled and will move into the project scope. Question number 6. Brooks' project team is well underway in the development of a complex technical project. A team member informed Brooks that a functional manager received the weekly status report but not the monthly progress report. He expressed that he must receive the monthly progress report. What should Brooke do next? So we have some multiple answers here. To be, Brooke should send the monthly progress report to all stakeholders and team members. Brooke should update the communication management plan to include sending the monthly progress report. Nothing. The stakeholder does not need to receive the monthly progress report because he's receiving the weekly status report. So Brooke should note this in the issue log and send the monthly progress report to these stakeholders. So the correct answer here is Brooke should update the communication management plan to include sending the monthly progress report. So the explanation here is Brooke should update the communication plan, and why. The communication plan must be updated anytime a change to a communication method or stakeholder is needed. So sending the monthly progress reports to all stakeholders and team members may not be necessary. Therefore, this is not the best option. Brooke ignoring the problem is never appropriate, and not providing the manager with this information may be detrimental to the project, and therefore doing nothing is inappropriate. And nothing in this is the issue log, and then sending the monthly progress report to the manager is not the best option because this change must be reflected in the communication management. Question number 7. Benjamin teams at Stack Swords complete project in an agile way following appropriate practices. They use exploratory testing to A. verify functionality in addition to functional focus testing, to explore the functionality within a user story instead of a functional focus testing for nothing, as it is not appropriate in an agile project. So the correct answer here is to verify functionality in addition to functional focus testing. So as you know, Exploratory testing should be used in addition to functional testing. So exploratory testing is not for testing within the story, but for testing the functional aspect of the completed story. So exploratory testing is not used instead of a functional testing. So exploratory testing is appropriate in an agile project. Exploratory testing is not focused on functional details in user stories. So question number 8, Philly is a project manager on project GVX. During a recent prioritization meeting, two of her stakeholders got into an argument over which tasks should be prioritized. By the end of the meeting, neither stakeholder was satisfied and the task list is still not finalized. What should Phillies do next? So A, ask the project management office to prioritize the tasks for the stakeholders. Since the stakeholders could not agree, Philly should determine the order herself. And then B, do nothing. The stakeholders will determine a list eventually. And then D, review what she knows about each stakeholder and meet with them together to negotiate a list. So the correct answer here is D. Review what she knows about each stakeholder and meet with them together to negotiate a list. So before she meets with these stakeholders, Philly should determine the best approach to negotiation and resolution. This will involve reviewing any notes she has about those stakeholders and understanding the source of their conflict. And Phyllis needs to see the conflict from each perspective to help negotiate a solution, and determining an order herself runs the risk of agitating her stakeholders and improperly prioritizing items. So the project management office is intended to support and guide project managers, not perform project work. So doing nothing runs the risk of the stakeholders escalating their conflict and not coming to a resolution. Question number 9. Alan is a project manager for the Delco Corporation. This project will create a model home inside of a large warehouse. The model home will be used to show prospective buyers the layout, finishes, and possibility that can be done without having to get permit and utilize land at the construction site. This model home will save the organization thousands of dollars because they will not have the follow local regulation for electrical, plumbing, and permitting. So in this project, Alan coaches the team on building a complete WBS to ensure all requirements are captured before the work begins. So Milo, on another project manager in the organization, asked Alan the point of taking time to develop the work breakdown structure, since the model home is built internally rather than for an actual customer. How should Alan respond? So pause the video and take a look at this multiple choice answer and then guess which one is correct. So as you can see, the correct answer here is B. It shows relationship between tasks and makes planning easier. Why is that? So developing a work breakdown structure gives the project team a way to see relationship between tasks and makes planning easier. Iteration are used in agile projects, and work breakdown structure are not commonly used tool in this type of a project. So stakeholders waiting on a work breakdown structure is not the best answer, because the project manager should select the project tools, not the stakeholders, and budget can be determined without a work breakdown structure as well. Question number 10. You are the project manager of the generator upgrade and replacement project, which is expected to last 360 months. The project work is extremely dangerous, so the project team will undergo intense safety training to ensure the workers' safety and make certain the project is not delayed due to faulty work. The cost of the safety training is known as which one of the following? So as you can see on the multiple choice answer, pause the video and see which one is the correct one answer. So the correct answer here is the cost of conformance to quality. And why is this? This is an example of the cost conformance to quality. The cost of non-conformance is the cost of having to redo the project work. loss of sale, downtime, and other expenses caused by not doing the training. The cost of doing business is usually assigned to regular expenses such as salaries, rents for office space, light, etc. So training, especially this type of training, is above and beyond the cost of doing business. The question does not suggest the regulation require this training. Next question. You are the project manager for industrial light projects. Your project team can have access to the job site only between 8 p.m. and 7 a.m. Which project document will document this information for your project? So take a look at the multiple choice answers, and the right answer will be project calendar. And the project calendar defines when the project work can be done, so this is the best answer. The project charter will not typically define when the project team may access the job site. The project schedule may define this information, but not necessarily. The project schedule typically defines the actual state and finish dates for the tasks, not access times to the job site. The resource management plan provides information to the identification of resources, how to acquire the resources, and specify roles and responsibility of the resources. Next question is, you are the project manager of the GGJ project and you are working with the project team to create the project risk management plan. Which of the following item is not part of the risk management plan? So as you can see, we have the various answers, the multiple choice answers to choose from. You can pause the video and then select the right answer. So the right answer here is the risk register. So we use the risk register not part of the risk management plan, but rather the output of the risk identification process. So there's risk strategy, which defines our project risk management approach, is defined in the risk management plan. And then risk categorize provide a structure that ensures a comprehensive process to identify risks to a consistent level of details, and is therefore part of the risk management plan. A methodology defines the approach to and data sources used to perform risk management, and is thus part of the risk management plan. Next question. Joyce is using a model that will help her gauge the effectiveness of different methods of communication on her project at Sander Software. She has learned that the most effective methods are, and we have low in the information density and interactivity, and a low in time and high in quotient, and high information density and interactivity, and high information density and illustration. So take a moment and pause the video and select the right answer. Okay, all right, so the right answer here is high information density and interactivity. So good communication is highest in information density and interactivity. Information density is how much useful information can be conveyed in the communication, and interactivity is how much the communication allows for a back and forth between the parties. So good communication will not have low level of useful information or how the low level of back and forth between the parties. The amount of time and inclusion is relevant. Next question. You are the project manager of a project NJG, and you have invited stakeholders from around your organization to participate in the project initiation. Your project team wants to know why you would include the stakeholders in so much of the project when the project team is composed of the people who will be doing the work. So as you can see here, we have the multiple choice. Pause the video and then select the correct one. So the correct answer here is stakeholder ownership improves stakeholder satisfaction. So involving the stakeholder does help improve their satisfaction. So that's the right answer. So the next question we have, Jessica has been managing many projects for her organization and is exemplary in her execution, and she relentlessly stresses the importance of collecting and documenting lessons learned throughout the project's life cycle to ensure continuous learning and improvement, and contributes to the organization knowledge management system. Her colleague Adam finds that these weekly meetings are all spent tackling complex feature development issues and there is still attention of or time spent or on lessons learned. Adam seeks advice from Jessica to ensure lessons learned gathering does not get missed in such situation. What is the most appropriate recommendation? So take a moment and pause, and let's say you can choose the right answer. So the right answer here is add lessons learned agenda items. And the explanation here is, a sure approach is to add a lesson learned agenda item to the meeting, engage the team for feedback while welcoming positive and negative factors that impact the team. So discontinuing updating meetings will prevent efficient sharing of information. Recording the minutes of the meetings may not capture any lessons learned. Issues and problems should never be ignored. Next question. Management wants to know how long the project work will take. The project manager uses similar projects to predict the duration of the current project work. The project manager is using which form of estimation? So take a moment and then go through the MCQ and see which one is the correct answer. So as you can see, the correct answer here is Analyst. So using the Analyst method, the project manager can use information from another similar project to predict the duration of the current project, and parametrics estimation is based on parameters such as unit, metric tons, and so on, and it has nothing to do with the past projects. And bottom-up estimates start at 0 and take in all costs for each activity. This is also has nothing to do with past projects, although expert judgment may be involved. This is not the best answer for the question. So next question we have, you are the project manager of a large project to install 10,000 fixtures across a college campus. Your project team has been late on their assigned work and you fear the project will be late. Which of the following provide forecasting for the project? So take a moment and go through the answer and then see which one will be the right one. So the right answer here is the estimate at completion. So the end value management formula. So estimate at completion, EAC, provide forecasting for the project success. The program evaluation and review technique provides time estimates, not forecasting. The graphical evaluation and review technique provides branching and loop backs in network diagramming, not forecasting. Risk analysis does not provide forecasting at the level that EAC does. Next question. As a PMP candidate, you should recognize the different methods an organization can use to select project. Benefit comparisons is the most common approach to select project, but constraint optimization, a more specialized approach to project selection, is also used by organization. Which one of the following is an example of constraint optimization? So as you can see here, the right answer here will be linear programming. And why is that? Linear programming is a mathematical model and an example of constraint optimization. So net present value is incorrect. Net present value is an example of benefit comparison, and future value is an example of benefit comparison. And benefits over cost ratios are examples of benefit comparisons. Ito is a Scrum Master for Project W, which is 9 iteration into deployment and has velocity of 102 story point. During a recent sprint review, Ito noticed that several stakeholders did not understand recent project development. What is the most likely cost of this? So as you can see, take a moment and pause and see and choose and see if you get it right. So the right answer here is Ethel has not adequately engaged those stakeholders. And you know why? So stakeholders not understanding recent project development are a sign that Ethel does not understand how to best engage with them. So it's unlikely that unrelated stakeholders will be in the sprint review for Project W, or it's possible that the project team does not give engaging presentations. This is not the most likely cause for stakeholders' confusion. It is unlikely that the stakeholders were too busy with other projects to anticipate the change of the Project W. Next question we have, Skylark Inc. is a transitioning to Agile development approach. They have selected Project M to develop a breakthrough water purifying device and have tasked you team with the development. The development team consists of cross-functional skill resource. The team approaches you and states that they are unaware of what the final product will look like and are unsure how to proceed with the undefined scope. What will you advise them in this situation? Take a moment and pause and let's see what will you advise them in this situation. So the right answer here is start with short iteration, following the most promising approach and learn as they go. So the best way to proceed in cases where there are many unknowns is to identify and follow the most promising approach and work in short iteration to learn and adapt as more information is discovered, which is the key Agile benefit. So Agile projects charter are usually not very detailed or contain technical guidance for the team. Asking the customers more about the device on a breakthrough project will not be fruitful, as the customer hopes to learn as the development unfold. Research spikes and gathering more information might be good options, but not this situation, as the team does not know the product. So research spikes are most valuable when we need to investigate the how and not the what. So the right answer here is you start with short iteration, following the most promising approach and learn as they go. Next question. Joey is recovering from a project which recently ended. During this project, the stakeholders continuously added deliverables to the scope in addition to updating existing deliverables. The result was Joey's team being overworked and his other projects suffering from a lack of resources, all of which increasingly become devoted to the out of scope project. Before starting a new project, Joey decided to write up the overall characteristics of the product his team will provide as soon as he has a project charter and requirement documentation. This is an example of which part of the project scope statement. So the right answer here will be product scope description. So the product scope description explains the characteristics of a given service or a product in accordance with the project charter and any requirement documentation. So deliverables are product, result, or capabilities required to complete a process, phases, or project. And acceptance criteria are conditions that must be fulfilled for deliverables to be accepted. And project exclusion are explicit statement or description of what is out of scope for the project. Next question will be, you will need to know the communication management formula for your exams, and you may encounter a few questions on this concept. Consider a project where Bryant is the project manager overseeing a project with 3 developers and 1 QA analyst. So Brian is responsible for how many communication channels? So the correct answer here is 10. So Brian is responsible for 10 communication channels. The formula for calculating the number of communication channel is, so we have n multiplied by n into bracket n minus 1, and then you bracket close divided by 2. So where n is the number of stakeholders, so there are 5 stakeholders in the examples, Bryant and the 3 developers and 1 QA analyst. Therefore the calculation will be 5 times into bracket 5 minus 1 and all over 2, and the right answer here will be 10. So the answer choices are incorrect in this question, so that's why we go for 10 as the correct answer. So the next question here, you are the project manager for the GBK project. This project affects a line of business and the customer is anxious about the sources of the project. Which of the following is likely not a top concern for the customer? So the right answer here is personality conflict. So personality conflict may be concern for the customer, but they are not as important or as likely to be of concern as the project priorities, schedules, and costs. So the customer hired your company to solve the technical issues, and the project priorities are likely a top concern for the customer. So this choice is not correct, and schedules are likely a top concern for the customer. So this choice is not correct. Costs are likely a top concern for the customer, so this choice is not correct as well. The next question, Bianca is the project manager for multinational projects with stakeholders in the United States, Mexico, and France, affecting how she and other project stakeholders will communicate. So Bianca must plan for project assumption and constraint. Of the following, which is an example of project communication constraint? So take a minute and pause and see which one will be the communication constraint. So as you can see there, we have demand for formal reports, stakeholder management, and ad hoc conversation through web conference software. So the right answer here will be the project team's geographical locales. Why is that? The geographical locales of the project team members who are not physically close can be a communication constraint. So it's more difficult to communicate when there is distance between team members. So the other response are incorrect because they are not accurately describe a communication constraint. Next question, we have Carol leads her Agile teams well. She ensures that her team members are recognized for their efforts, that they have the proper tools for their work, and that they pay and benefits are well rescheduled and appropriate for each role. She has a team gathering scheduled after work on a Friday to celebrate the team's recent success. The best term for what Carol is displaying is, take a minute and pause and then choose the right answer. So Carol is demonstrating servant leadership. So servant leadership involves leadership seeking out what motivates their team and rewarding them for their job well done, and management is not as much as an agile focus as leadership. So next question, Anne's team is having conflict regarding their agile project. The team is focused on winning the argument. A few resources have chosen one side and a few others have chosen another. Everyone is blaming the opposite team. What level of conflict is this? Take a minute and pause and choose the correct answer. So the correct answer here is the context level of conflict, where the team is focused on being right over the others. So this is related to context level of conflict, which is focused on winning. This scenario is beyond the level of simple disagreement and not quite as intense as carousel, which group is focused on self-protection. Norming is not a stage of conflict. Next question, Bob is the Scrum Master for Project L, which is in the 8th iteration and has a velocity of 49 story point. Recently, a new developer joined the team and has approached Bob with several questions about the project. What is the best response Bob could provide? So take a minute and pause and then answer the correct answer. So the correct answer here is answer their question and refer them to project documentation. So Bob should take time to answer the developer's question and ensure they can access the project documentation. This will help onboard the new developer and give them the information they need. Assigning another team member is not ideal, as it will not build a relationship with Bob. Only sending them to the project documentation is not ideal, as Bob will lose some relationship building time. Daily stand-up are intended to cover what the team is doing that day. And the next question will be, James is designing a website and Nathan is testing it. James would prefer that Nathan tests the website landing page while James works on the point of sale portion while creating the project schedule. James notes that testing for the website cannot begin unless there is at least one page with working features. As a result, he tells his web developers to start creating the website so that Nathan can start testing it. Which of the following precedence diagram method, PDM, dependency is being used to construct the schedule model? So the right answer here is start to finish. So start to finish SS dependency means that an activity cannot start until another activity has started. In this case, Nathan cannot start testing the website until James has started creating of at least one page with working features. The dependency aligns with the requirement that progress on tasks creating pages is necessary for another task to begin.